Hi guys, and welcome to another video on Sonal's Life. So after 4 weeks of matches, 2 blocks and 20 wrestlers, we finally had our G1 Climax winner crowned yesterday. And I thought I'd take this video to sort of look at the last few matches of the blocks, the final night, what my favourite matches were, my MVPs, and obviously what's going to happen going forward, because now we are firmly on the road to Tokyo Dome, which has just been announced for 2 days on the 4th and 5th. Now, going into the final 2 nights of block matches, there was 3 men in each who had a chance of winning. In A block, we had Kazuchika, Okada, Kota, Ibushi, and my boy Jay White. This smile won't last for long. And in block B, we had Tetsuya Naito, Evil, and Sanada. And if something happened there where there was some random results, Zack Sabre Jr. could have had a shot. That's what he said anyway. Now, the last 3 matches of Block A were the big determiners. Now, we first had Kazuchika Okada versus Will Ospreay. Now, to start with, most of us thought this is just going to be a really nice inter-faction match. This reaction is because that is not what happened. Halfway through the match, Will Ospreay's girlfriend and fellow wrestler Bea Priestley came out. Now, it was very weird, we've never seen her actually in a match. And then suddenly out of nowhere, the Great O'Khan came. Now, for anyone who doesn't know, he is a former young lion who has been on excursion here in the UK, dominating the British scene. He has been undefeated since he's come here. Now, Bea Priestley managed to distract the ref, and the Great O'Khan started wrestling Okada, which basically helped Ospreay get the win. Now, to start with, we thought, Ospreay seems surprised about this. There must be something weird going on. He can't do this. Okada is his brother. Well, after the match, Ospreay suddenly went crazy and started beating up Okada, saying, "You've held me back, it's your fault." And then afterwards in the post-match comments said he was making his own faction. Now, if it wasn't a shock enough that Okada lost and that he isn't going to a G1 Climax final again, this was even more shocking. No one expected a heel turn from Ospreay. In Japan, the fans love him. But I think it's going to be quite interesting going forward. We then had the second match, which was Kota Ibushi versus Taichi. Now, this was 17 minutes around that time of them just kicking each other. Now, if you go onto Chris Sams's Twitter, I think he's actually got a tally chart of how much they've damaged each other, how many kicks and strikes were thrown. In the end, Ibushi won it, and that meant that Okada was firmly out of the running, and it was all up to the main event, which was Jay White versus Tomohiro Ishii. Now, you know what my hopes would have been. It would have been to Jay White to beat Ishii and to go on to the final. Now, that didn't happen. In an amazing match, though, that lasted just under 25 minutes, Tomohiro Ishii got the win over Jay White. And you need to remember, these two don't like each other. Jay used to be in Chaos, he turned on his faction, and Ishii is a Chaos man through and through. He is very loyal to his faction. Now, with that loss, Kota Ibushi made it through to his 3rd consecutive final in a row. Now, I was obviously conflicted because I love Jay White, but I was also sort of happy that Ibushi did it again because he is showing that he is such an amazing wrestler and he is improving all the time. And then we had the second night. So Tanahashi beat Zack, so even if something happened randomly with the next 2 matches, Zack was not going to make it to the final. We then had Kenta beating Naito. Now, it was another amazing match. Unlike their match back in February for the title, there was no blood. Thank God, I was relieved about that. But it was weird because I didn't see this happening. Yes, we'd seen Evil and Sanada beat Naito, but this was a gutting loss for Naito, like he said. Not only was it a loss, but it's another guy who's going to be vying for his title. He basically said this. Losing it, he might as well have not been in it at all. He might as well have got 0 points. However, as upsetting as that was, everyone was looking forward to the main event, Evil versus Sanada. Now, considering all the history between the guys, it was it was a good match, but there was hardly any storytelling. I thought there was going to be more animosity from Sanada, but we all know that the Cold Skull is very cool and collected. Now, as we've seen in all of Evil's matches, Dick Togo obviously got involved. Is it an Evil match now without Dick Togo? But Hiromu was on commentary, and with his help, Sanada got the win and made it to his first G1 Climax final, setting the stage for Sanada versus Kota Ibushi on the final night. Now, those two have had a weird sort of relationship. In 2018, they had such a standout match in the G1. Last year's not so much. Nobody really knew what to expect going into this match. And I think there has been mixed reviews on it. Some have said it's not that great. I personally really enjoyed it. It was a very slow match compared to what we've seen from the two guys, but I think it works to the storytelling. It's been a long tournament. Kota Ibushi literally got kicked so many times by Taichi. Neither man was going to go into the tournament 100%. And in the end, after a match that was mixing, there was some high flying. There was a lot of submissions, a lot of strikes. Kota Ibushi won his second consecutive G1 final. Now, he has joined the exclusive list of Hiroshi Tenzan and Masahiro Chono, who was there, of winning back-to-back G1s. And I think we can say the G in G1 stands for God, which is what Kota Ibushi has said for so long he wants to be. And as sad as I was that Sanada didn't win, because basically that meant that my predictions were literally useless. I mean, I got one right. Sanada made it to the final, but yeah, Kota Ibushi deserves it. He's had an amazing tournament, putting on probably the best matches out of anyone. Like, he's probably one of the MVPs that I'm going to talk about. And it's going to be interesting seeing what's going forward now. Is Ibushi going to finally get that chance to win the IWGP Heavyweight Championship at the Tokyo Dome? Who knows? Now, my best matches of the G1. Honestly, like, I probably said some of them in that other video, but it's been an endless amount. Like, every night there was possible match of the year candidates. Personally, for me, the matches that stood out the most: Ibushi versus Minoru Suzuki, the Ibushi versus Taichi match. I mean, I could probably list all of Ibushi's matches. There was obviously Shingo versus Ospreay, Naito versus Sanada. They were all so diverse, and I almost think that you could randomly pick any day of the G1 to watch if you've not been following it, and there will be a match that you will fall in love with. I mean, even something like Toru Yano versus Zack Sabre Jr., which was a match that was probably Yano's best match I've seen in a while, and the longest. There is something for everyone, and that just proves how good the wrestlers have been. Like I said, my MVPs, it could be any of them. You've got guys like Ibushi, Shingo, Ishii who've been putting on standout matches, but then guys like Yoshihashi and Yujiro, they've not picked up many points, so respectively 2 and 4 points. But they have been putting their heart and soul into it. Yujiro knew he was never going to win, but still kept fighting. The same with Yoshihashi, putting out amazing matches with Naito and Tanahashi. It just shows just how good the wrestlers are. And I obviously can't forget these MVPs, the young lions. So Gabriel Kidd, Yota Tsuji, Yuya Uemura. Honestly, every night, going out and putting on great matches to start the show, making the crowds excited, making us fans excited for the night. And it's going to be exciting because who knows, next year, one of those might be in the G1 as one of the participants. Now, that's obviously the G1 in general, but looking forward, what are we going to see? Well, the card's just been released for the Power Struggle show. We've got some big matches, so Evil versus Naito for the titles, Jay challenging Ibushi for the contract, which we saw at the end of the post-match comments, Tanahashi challenging Kenta for his US contract, and a Never match, just to name a few. And then we've got Best of Super Junior, which is my favourite time of the year, combined with a tag league. And this is all within the space of 2.5 months before the Tokyo Dome. Now, it's obviously very different compared to normal years because they've sort of condensed the entire year within 3 months. But it's just going to make it more exciting. And there's so many questions. Is Naito still going to be holding the belts at Tokyo Dome? Is Ibushi still going to have the contract? If that's the case, are we going to see another really scary Naito versus Ibushi match? It could be completely different. We could have Evil versus Jay at the Tokyo Dome. If that does happen, I'm a psychic. But yeah, the next few months are going to be so exciting for New Japan, and as fans we are so blessed for everything. Now, that was basically my video. It's sort of a whistle-stop tour of everything in the past few weeks, and I know it's going to be a lot, but it just proves how good New Japan is that I could have content coming out of my ears because there is so much to talk about. But I'm going to end the video here. Like always, like, subscribe, comment. Let me know, what were your favourite matches of the G1? Who were your MVPs? And also, what did you think of the final? Did you want Ibushi to win? Were you like me where you were happy he won, but Sanada really, it would have been beautiful to see the whole arena dimmed with the lights. But yeah, make sure to follow me on social media, share this video with your friends, and hopefully we can keep growing this community. I will see you guys next week. Bye!